Hi Chargers, Charger families and community. It's Richard Zimmerman, the principal at Marysville Getchell High School, here with another quick charge. Well, we had another fantastic week here at Getchell. I am so impressed with the way our students are gearing up towards finals, which will be coming up this week. It's amazing how quickly this semester has gone by. But last week we had a fantastic assembly to honor Martin Luther King, so we had that MLK assembly, and couldn't have asked for a better assembly. As you'll see in this week's quick charge, I've edited some sections of the assembly for you to enjoy. This was an assembly that was completely put together by members of our Black Student Union. It was 100% student organized, arranged, and presented, and they did a great job. But like I said, this week we have finals coming up. Our new semester is going to be starting a week after next. Wow. And then we are in a race to the end of the school year with graduation and a whole bunch of other activities that we'll be having. But for now, sit back, enjoy different portions of our MLK assembly.
Welcome to the Marysville Getchell High School's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration of 2023. My name is Adese Okimore.
I am Aisha Neaya.
And I'm Alai Klepler.
We are your Black Student Union board members and MCs this morning. A few of the topics will highlight not only Dr. King and his contributions, but also Black voices and excellence. This assembly is entirely student-led, showcasing our voice at every turn. We would like to believe that this assembly is exceptionally unique because of it.
We will be starting our assembly with the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem. Lift Every Voice and Sing is a poem and song constructed by James Weldon Johnson and his brother, J. Roseman Johnson. Since 1919, this song holds the title of the Black National Anthem. Lift Every Voice and Sing has carried generations of Black people with the symbol of resilience and hope. It was made in a time not very long ago when Black Americans were not given the full rights and privileges of a U.S. citizen. Its powerful words are a cry for the liberation of Black people. Through decades of discrimination, this song not only brings gratitude for how far we as Black people have come, but the celebration of freedom and continuing to build upon this freedom for future generations. Please rise for the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing, sung by Aisha Jama, and remain standing for our national anthem sung by Haley Sawyers.
That the dark past has taught us. Sing a song about the hope that the present is bright. Facing the rising sun, a brighter day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chase we run, felt in the Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleam? Who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, Getchell students and staff. Thank you for joining us today to reflect on a past inspirational moment that occurred 60 years ago. We want to acknowledge our past, present, and where we're headed for the future. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the first to lead a nonviolent campaign and protest for racial justice. King fought for equity and human rights for African American people. Growing up in an economically disadvantaged system, there are many injustices that occur. In a time when segregation and racism was at one of its primes, King saw the need for change. He began to lead boycotts, peaceful protests, conferences, and marches. With the South being in the midst of this evolution in the eyes of the rest of the country, on August 28, 1963, King shared words that would forever be remembered for his resilience and strength. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all the flesh shall see it together.
In preparation for the assembly, we interviewed students that walked the campus here at Getchell. We asked them a few specific questions about what MLK Day means to them. Here's what they had to say.
MLK means when black people have the freedom of speech. MLK helps us learn about black culture and culture. Black culture means to me to bring people together.
The importance of black culture is because it impacts our society, like music, for example, and we learn a lot about it, and it impacts everyone.
It's very important because as a black, even for myself, it's good that I have I'm culture is?
So to me, MLK is important because he made it easier for us now to go to school. We don't have to worry about being hate crimes or any of that. And he also made a huge change in the world, revolutionary-wise and just movement-wise, to make it so that we can get our education, just even though we're different skin tone. And he made things fair. And even though he died, he did leave a big impact. So that's why he's important to me.
To me, Black history means, I think it's really important because throughout history, as Black people, you know what I'm saying, we were brought down by so much, and it was harder for us to succeed and do everything. So I think Black history is important because when we learn about all the Black people and African Americans who succeeded throughout history, I think that's important because of all the things that held us down.
I think Black history is important because it's an opportunity to spotlight and celebrate the achievements that Black people have accomplished, and in this country, despite what they have done.
MLK saw the vision for us to unite, and he saw that we're all one.
Higher dreams means something that everyone has a goal and that everyone can achieve it some way or another.
I would say it means having equal opportunities and equal rights for all people, all races, and standing up to social injustice.
I have a dream to me means that I get to have the opportunity as a Black woman to create ways for myself that are not traditionally there for me, especially as a dark-skinned Black woman in America. It is essential and crucial for us to be able to have the space to reimagine outside the space we've been given. And to me, being able to do that is not only incredible and amazing, but it creates ways for other Black and brown folks to be on the table and break bread with us and make a change in the world and make a difference.
Thank you everyone who contributed to the video. Next, we'd like to give a warm welcome to the youngest elected African American Linwood City Councilman and student advocate, Josh Binda.
How's everybody doing today? Getchell, I know the energy that's here. How's everybody doing today? Okay. I want to quickly introduce myself, and I really want to get into the message because on timing and stuff like that, I want to make sure you guys get everything else going on. So my name is Josh Binda. I'm 23 years old, turned 23 a couple months ago. I'm a city council member in the city of Linwood, youngest elected African American in state history. And I do a lot of advocacy work with the community. I do a lot of stuff like that. And there's a lot I can introduce about myself. There's a lot of my past, my history. But I really want to focus on the message. So I'm just gonna get right into it. But when I have these conversations, I really like to be interactive with the students and kind of get that feel back. So can we be interactive? Getchell, can we have a conversation with y'all? Can y'all talk back to me? Can we do that? Getchell? Yes? Can we have a conversation? Okay, first off, I really want to get into the mission. I want to start by talking about dreams. And the reason I want to talk about dreams is because I think that's something that everybody in this room has. I think everybody in this room has a dream they want to accomplish. I think some of you are athletes, some of your dream is to make it to that state championship and hold that trophy. And for some of you singers, that's singing on that big stage and having that presence. And just for some of you academics in here, your dream is just to get that 4.0 and go to a good college. I think everyone in this room, big or small, has a dream. And there's two things I want to key in on that we go from, because we all believe in our dreams. We want to believe we can accomplish what we put our minds to. And there's two things that having us go from believing in our dreams to eventually accomplishing and achieving them. And I'm gonna say these words and I'm gonna have y'all repeat back after me because I said I like to be interactive. And the first word I want to focus on is action. Can I hear action from you guys? Can I hear action from you guys? Action! Cool. The first word is action. And the second word I really want to key in is execution. Can I hear execution from you guys? Can I hear execution from you guys? So through action and through execution, we go from believing in our dreams to hoping for our dreams to eventually achieving and becoming our dreams. Every generation has to go from that standpoint, from believing in a dream to becoming it. The generations before us the movements that happened before us, all those generations before us, set them up. Eventually, at some point, they believed in that dream, but through the action and the execution they took, they eventually became it and set us up to where we're here today. A couple of life stories that happened at Safeway. This happens to be another one of them. And so I was with my dad at Safeway, and we're walking through the aisle, and we're in my hometown where everybody knows me, everybody loves me. And as we're walking through the aisle, we're getting groceries, and so out of nowhere, this dude bumps into my shoulder. And he bumps into my shoulder. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this whole aisle here, like, watch where you're going. And so he bumps into my shoulder, he says that, and he looks back at me, he says, you watch where you're going, N-word. And when he said that to me, I was shocked. I was baffled. I was thinking, the younger, unevolved me, I wasn't always the best kid in the block, so the younger, unevolved me, we would have had to throw hands. There would have been something going on. But the older and evolved me realized that wasn't the way to approach things, stuff like that. So I stood there, and I was just in shock. My dad's standing there, and I'm like, what'd you say to me? And my dad comes in the way, he stops me, and stuff like that. Dude walks away. And I'm just in there, I'm talking to my dad, I'm furious, I'm angry. I'm sitting there like, how dare this dude talk to me that way? Every single Friday night, I'm carrying this football team on my back. I volunteer in the community. I do all this and that for the city. Does he know who he's talking to? How dare he talk to me that way? And in that moment, my dad said something to me that, honestly, I'll never forget, and it really put things in perspective for me. And he was like, Josh, you're not gonna like this, but this is the reality. Sometimes, man, in the world we live in, it doesn't matter what you accomplish. It doesn't matter who you are or what titles you have. Some people will still just see you as just another black man. And when he said that to me, man, it really hit me deep. It almost got me questioning my whole worth. It got me thinking, man, do people truly love me as a person, or do they love me for what I have to offer, what I have to give, what I'm doing? And that's why it's so important, as we're seeing this room 55 years later, that we continue to take action, that we continue to execute, because it still happens to this day. And the moment we get complacent, the moment you stop putting in the practice and the work behind sports, you start losing games you're supposed to win. The moment you stop studying and think you're good, you get complacent, you go from a 4.0 to a 3.5. The moment in life you get complacent with anything, you leave room for things to happen again, for history to repeat itself. And so that's so important. That's the reason we do this every single year. We bring this message up every single year. It's important to continue taking action and executing. Another thing I really want to highlight here, that I really want to get into, guys, is the importance of love and unity. And I say that because it's so easy to be a hater. It's real easy to be a hater. It has no substance to it. You can hate people you don't know. You can hate people because someone told you to hate somebody. It's real easy to be a hater. Hate has no substance to it. And I talk about this because I say all the time when I give this message, it takes strength to love. It takes courage to love. It takes guts to love. And I say that because a lot of us, man, we've been hurt by sometimes even the people closest to us. Our family, our friends, boyfriend, girlfriend. We've been hurt by those people. And it takes strength when you go through that. It takes strength and courage to continue to choose to love, even when you're going through that, even when you're faced with hate, even when you're faced with hurt from things. And that's a big part of the movement MLK did in terms of responding with love towards hate. And that's a big part of the reason why we're here today, is because of that movement, because of that response. And I want to give you guys a quick story. And I know I'm living out of time, so I just want to really go through this as fast as I can. And it's a really important reason why I, to this day, intentionally move with love, intentionally move with wanting to be positive. So when I was in high school, there was a hallway on the 3rd floor. It was called the high five hallway. On this hallway, you just want to give a kid a high five. It's supposed to spread positivity. You walk by, someone's walked through the other direction, you just give them a high five, say, have a nice day. And so in 3rd period, I had 3rd period English on that hallway. And so every day I walk by, there was a kid, I'm gonna call him, and some of the leadership kids heard this story, but I think it's important for the entire student body to hear this story. There's a kid, I'm calling him Steven for story purposes. He's about yay high, nerdy kid, was pretty quiet, considered an outcast to everybody, would always walk the other direction, I was coming that direction. So every day, in like 3rd period, I see Steven coming in that direction, and the receiver, okay, there we go. I saw Steven, and I just gave him a quick little high five. I said, hey, bro, have a nice day, I hope everything's going good, and I just keep it pushing. Didn't think much of it, didn't say much of it, just kept it pushing. So 5 years later, after high school, I graduated, and I saw Steven at Safeway. So I said, anytime a life revelation happens, I'm just go to Safeway, because that's where things go down for me. So I saw him at Safeway. He was like, hey Josh, how's it going? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm good. How about you? He's like, yeah, I got this cool internship. I'm doing all this and that. It's pretty good. It's pretty dope. He's like, I see everything you're doing, man. It's real cool. Congrats. I'm like, thank you. And then we get into a deeper conversation. And he was like, Josh, man, can I be real with you for a second? And I was like, yeah, you can be real with me. Like, let's have a conversation. He said, man, I just want to thank you. And at that moment, I'm sitting there, I'm like, thank me for what? Like, I barely talked to bro. Like, we barely had a conversation, nothing. And I was like, thank me for what? And he was like, I just want to really thank you for just being so positive, man. Just being so, showing me love every time you saw me, man, in those hallways, on third period when you came that direction. He's like, I just want to really thank you because, during that time period in my life, man, I was just going one of the darkest seasons of my life, man. He was like, man, I was dealing with depression, anxiety. He was like, man, I was even suicidal. I didn't want to be here. He said, I wrote a couple notes a couple times, man. I just was really in a dark place. And man, when I saw you in those hallways and you gave me a quick little high five and said, have a nice day, man. He said, it just gave me a little reason to keep on going. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And so when he told me that, I was shocked. And I was like, wait, what? Like, to me, it was such an insignificant exchange of just a high five. But I didn't know that little grace of love, that little moment of just showing positivity, a light in someone's life, was helping this guy go through the darkest season of his life. And so when I emphasize the importance of love and unity and moving in that way, it's because everybody in this room, I don't care who you are, staff, students, everybody in this room is struggling with something, has something going on in their life. Everybody, even me standing up here. And you don't know who's going on with what. And some people could really be on their brink and you have no idea. Sometimes the kids and the people that smile the most. So it's important to intentionally move with love. It's important to intentionally move in that direction with positivity because you don't know who you're encountering and what they're going on with in their life. And how that could change something, how that could make a difference. Just that small level of love, man, could change someone's entire life. I'm telling you. When I was doing all that stuff and I was the star in my city and all of that, I was going through one of the darkest seasons of my life. I really was. My home life wasn't good. I was dealing with a bunch of stuff internally, and I was struggling. And there were people that came in my life during that season that showed love, that showed me grace, that kept me going too. And I'll never forget those people. And that's a big part of MLK's message when we talk about love and unity, moving together and spreading that. Because it's important. It's important. It can save lives sometimes. And again, so I just want to really, I'm gonna wrap up real quick, but I really want to emphasize a couple of things with you guys and hit a couple points and talk to you guys again. When we talk about this dream, and MLK's dream, we talked about one of the words I gave was action. Can I hear action from you guys? Action. Can I hear action from you guys? Action. We talked about action. We talked about execution. Can I hear execution from you guys? Execution. So through action and through execution, we can go from believing in this dream to eventually becoming this dream. And it's a new generation. It's our time to become the dream because it's bigger than us. What we do now is going to set the next generation, and they're going to believe, and then they're going to become. So every little thing you do matters. So I just want to say that to you guys. I want to say thank you guys, Marysville, Getchell, for giving me the time here to come and talk to you guys. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your assembly. I'm gonna be around, so feel free to approach me anytime afterwards or just have a conversation or any way you connect with me. So thank you so much, Marysville, Getchell. Appreciate you guys. Let's have a good time, okay? Thank you guys.
Next speaker is Jason Smith, who is the Vice President of Human Resources at Everett Community College.
So that's a tough act to follow. I wasn't a star athlete in high school, and I wasn't homecoming king, but I definitely appreciate the words. Good morning, everyone. Come on, we can do better than that. Good morning. All right. My name is Jason Smith. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources at Everett Community College. I've been in higher education for about 16 years. I've also spent 20 years in the Marine Corps, so I retired from that in 2017. So I've had an opportunity to have quite a different perspective on life. I've also had the honor of living in Marysville for 19 years, and I've had 2 sons who graduated from Marysville Getchell and are off doing things in college. And so it's an honor and a privilege to be here today to speak with you. As I was developing my speech for today, I decided to focus on a quote that King said that he used on multiple occasions. And the quote was, "There can be unity without uniformity." I'm going to say that one more time. There can be unity without uniformity. Now, when this speech, or when this quote was given in 1960, King was referring to criticisms that he was receiving about the civil rights movement with regards to being different approaches and the black community not being divided. And what he was saying was that just because someone doesn't share my views on how we're trying to accomplish something doesn't mean that we're not fighting for the same struggle. In many ways, I think about how this applies to where we're at today, what we're seeing happening all over the place. Whether it's people in power, no offense to elected officials, whether it's educators, of course, there's a lot of you in here, whether it's your friends, your families, celebrities, all of these are just potential examples of people who are trying to convince you that we're different. That for some reason, some other group, that we can't work with them or we can't trust them. And because of this, sadly, there are many of us who have never taken the time to try and understand the points of views of where other people are coming from. Now, this isn't unique to just one group of people, to one race, to one religion, to one gender. And this impacts all of us. So, if I were to ask how many of you are willing to stand up for equal rights, or how many of you believe in equal rights for all, just go ahead and raise your hands. How many of you believe in equal rights for all? I would think, I'm glad you can put your hands down. I would assume that all of us would believe in that message. Yet, if I were to ask what is the best way to accomplish that, we would have probably 100 different ways that people would see how we could accomplish that. Now, what ends up happening is that from time and time again, we forget that just seconds ago, we were all raising our hands saying that we were all agreeing to be in that same struggle. Again, there can be unity without uniformity. So as I leave you today, I want you to challenge yourself and not be so quick to dismiss those who have different opinions as yours. I would ask you to take that one extra step and try and understand where a person is coming from. I would ask you to shift your mindset from a predatory listener, someone who's just thinking about I gotcha moments and I'm just going to get that response, and try and transition to somebody who listens with understanding, to truly understand where a person is coming from, but to also understand what is it that they're trying to accomplish. Are they part of the same struggle? Do they want to have the same end goal? When it's all said and done, our fight against the struggle of injustice, and when it's all said and done, our fight is with the struggle of injustice. And we need to be on the same team. And just like any high-performing team that we've seen, whether it's in sports, whether it's in business, whether it's education, we can have differences of opinion. We can have different approaches, and we can have different levels of understanding. but we're still all moving in the same direction, and we have to remember that. Remember, we can have what? Unity when there isn't what? Uniformity. Thank you for your time.
Please give another round of applause for Jason Smith. Thank you so much for coming, Jason.
With the impact words carry, we hope to leave you all today with even a small amount of how King left a nation of people. Members of our BSU will be reading selected quotes that have inspired them or motivated them to action. We hope that you are all able to take inspiration from these words today as well. Racism is so universal in this country, so widespread and deep-seated, that it is invisible because it is normal. Shirley Chisholm.
We have a right to protest for what is right. That's all we can do. There are people hurting, there are people suffering. So we have an obligation, a mandate to do something. John Lewis.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an act of an unacceptable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects me directly affects everyone indirectly. Martin Luther King Jr.
We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Martin Luther King Jr.
If one really wishes to know how justice is administrated in a country, one does not question the policemen, the lawyers, the judges, or the protected members of the middle class. One goes to the unprotected, those precisely who need the law's protection most, and listens to their testimony. James Baldwin.
No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to go. Alice Walker.
If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving forward. Martin Luther King Jr.
It's bigger than black and white. That's the problem with the way of life. Can't change overnight, but we gotta start somewhere. Bye, little baby.
If there's one thing to be taken from this assembly, it's that with great unity, we can live in a world with equality. Racial injustices occur every day, big or small. It's up to us to continue to strive for better. Not just talk about what needs to be done, but take the action that is needed. On behalf of the Black Student Union here at Getchell, we thank everyone for your participation and attention during this assembly. Thank you.
Wasn't that a fantastic assembly? What a great way to bring the first semester to an almost close. Yes, this week we do have finals, so hopefully students have been studying for that, preparing for those, because this week is going to fly by, and then before you know it, it's going to be spring semester, second semester, and all of the activities that will come along with it. Now, I know that you have been watching these videos, but be sure that you subscribe to it. Please click on that notification bell, give it a thumbs up. Lets me know that people are actually watching these. And of course, make it a great day the Charger way.